left your curtains open again."
I stared at that message for a long time. I didn't recognize the number. I told myself it was a wrong number. I put my phone face down and tried to sleep, but the curtains in my bedroom were open. I'd moved into the apartment 6 weeks before, ground floor unit. I'd been meaning to buy blackout curtains since the first week, but I kept forgetting. My bedroom window faced the side alley between my building and the next one. There was a street light out there. I could always see the orange glow through the glass at night. I picked my phone back up. "Me, who is this?" No response. I waited 3 minutes. Nothing. I got up and closed the curtains, told myself someone had the wrong number, a drunk text, something stupid. I went back to bed and lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, telling myself there was a reasonable explanation for everything. There wasn't. Better. I felt cold. Not scared exactly, just suddenly, deeply aware that I was alone in the apartment, that the walls were thin, and that someone outside could see my window change and report it back to me in real time. They'd watched me close the curtains. They'd watched me respond. And they'd waited just long enough to make sure I understood exactly what that meant. I didn't sleep. I sat on my bed with the lights on until morning. When daylight came, I almost convinced myself it was nothing. Almost. 3 nights later. "You have a white mug on your nightstand. The one with the chipped handle?" I looked at my nightstand. The mug was there. I had been drinking chamomile tea before bed. The handle had been chipped since I bought it from a thrift store. There was no way to see that detail from a distance. Whoever sent that had been close. Very close. Close enough to see inside my room, past the curtains, into the specific details of a bedside table I'd never photographed, never posted anywhere, never mentioned to a single person. "Who are you? Answer me right now." "Someone who pays attention." I called the police non-emergency line. They took my information, said to document everything, said it could be a neighbor, someone with line of sight. They'd send someone to do a walkthrough of the building. The officer came the next morning, walked the alley, found nothing unusual, told me the sight line through my window was possible from the alley itself or from the upper floor of the adjacent building. Said to keep my curtains closed and call back if anything escalated. I asked what escalated meant. He didn't give me a satisfying answer. I bought blackout curtains that afternoon, covered every window. Felt better for exactly 4 days. New curtains, smart. But you really shouldn't prop your front door open when you bring groceries in. Takes you 3 trips. That's almost 4 minutes. I set my bags down on the kitchen floor. I'd done exactly that 2 days before. 3 trips from my car. I'd propped the lobby door with my shoe because my hands were full. I thought nothing of it. The building next to yours has a parking garage, 2nd level, clear view of the lobby entrance. They wanted me to know where they were watching from. That was the part that hollowed me out completely. They weren't slipping up. They were choosing to tell me. Every message was a decision, a deliberate demonstration of access. They could see me coming and going from the building. They'd timed my grocery trips. They knew my habits better than I knew them myself, and rather than use that information for anything, they were simply showing me they had it. Sitting up on that 2nd level of the parking garage in the dark, phone in hand, watching. Just watching. This wasn't a wrong number. This was never a wrong number. I screenshot everything and called the police again. They escalated my report, told me to vary my routine, avoid patterns. A detective called me the next morning, said they were working on tracing the number. Meanwhile, the messages stopped. For 11 days, nothing. I started to breathe again. Told myself they'd moved on, lost interest, found someone else, which was a horrible thought, but at least it would mean I was safe. On the 12th day, "I wasn't ignoring you. I was just busy. Did you think I was gone?" Then, immediately, I'm closer than the parking garage now. The detective called me the next morning. They'd traced the SIM. Burner phone, purchased with cash. The number had been deactivated 12 hours after that final message. They never found out who it was. I moved out 2 months later. New city, 6th floor unit. No adjacent buildings with direct line of sight.
I still close the curtains first thing every night. Before I do anything else. It's automatic now. I don't think about why, I just do it. I've done it in hotel rooms. I've done it at other people's apartments when I was staying over. The habit calcified in a way that I can't fully explain to people who haven't experienced something like this. They think it's quirky. It's not quirky. It's the only thing that makes the room feel like mine. The conversation thread is still on my phone. I've never deleted it. Sometimes I open it at night without meaning to. All those messages still sitting there. The timestamps, the gaps between them. What gets me is the gap between the first message and the second. 14 minutes. They watched me close the curtains. Then they waited 14 minutes before telling me they'd noticed. Long enough that I might have relaxed. Long enough to test whether I would respond to being made to feel safe before being made to feel watched again. That was intentional. I know that now. The last message is still read. No response from me. And sometimes at 3 a.m. I think about that word. Closer. The first message came while I was at work. 11:23 a.m. Dad. Call me when you can. Nothing urgent. Normal enough. My dad texted like that sometimes. I was in a meeting. I made a mental note to call him at lunch. 11:47 a.m. Dad. Actually, don't call. Just wanted to say I love you. I smiled at that. My dad wasn't a sentimental guy, but he had his moments. I texted back a heart and got back to work. I called him that evening on my drive home. He picked up on the second ring. Hey, I got your texts, I said. Silence. Then, what texts? My dad's voice, completely normal. No idea what I was talking about. I told him what the messages said. He went quiet in a way that felt different from confusion. Careful, almost. I didn't send those, he said. I haven't texted you today. I pulled over. I opened our thread. The messages were there, sent from his number. The same contact I'd had for 9 years. Same profile photo he'd had for 3. Dad, they're coming from your number. I'm looking at my phone right now. I didn't send anything today. We stayed on the call while he checked his sent messages. Nothing. He checked his outbox. Nothing sent to me. 8:34 p.m. Dad, did you tell anyone about the money? I was still on the phone with him. He hadn't sent that. I watched it appear. Dad, you just sent me something. I'm holding my phone. I did not send that. I read it out loud to him. He went completely silent. Here's the thing. 3 weeks earlier, my dad had lent me money, a significant amount. It was private, something we'd agreed not to mention because of family dynamics, because my aunt was difficult about financial things, because it was easier to just not say anything. Nobody knew. Not my partner at the time, not my closest friends, just the 2 of us. 8:41 p.m. Dad. You should be more careful about your email. You really should. My dad said he didn't send it. His voice was shaken now. We were both trying to stay calm. I opened my email on my laptop when I got home. Nothing looked unusual. No suspicious logins in my activity log. No password reset emails I hadn't requested. But I scrolled back. 3 weeks earlier. An email to my dad. Subject line, the thing we talked about. I'd sent it after he deposited the money. Said thank you. Referenced the amount. Kept it vague but clear enough. Someone had read that email. and they were using my dad's number to show me they had. I changed every password I owned that night. My dad took his phone to his carrier the next morning. They found nothing. No third-party app, no forwarding rule, no SIM compromise they could identify. The tech who looked at his phone spent 40 minutes going through it and came back with nothing. He said it was possible to spoof a number, to make a message appear to originate from a contact in someone's existing thread, but that doing it cleanly enough to fool the carrier logs required resources most people simply didn't have. He said that like it was supposed to be reassuring. It wasn't. The messages had come from his number. That was real. They showed up in our thread. They appeared on my phone with his name, his photo, his contact information. How, exactly, was never explained to me. 9:12 p.m. Dad, I know you're changing your passwords right now. It won't matter. My dad was sitting next to me when that came in. He watched my face change. He read the message over my shoulder. He said nothing for almost a full minute. Then, this person has been in your life for a while. Not a question. The messages stopped after that night, completely. But whoever it was had demonstrated something very clearly. They could reach me through people I trusted, through numbers I would always open. They'd chosen my father specifically, the one contact I would never ignore or screen. I think about that choice often. Out of everyone who could have been behind this, they chose to route everything through my father. Not a coworker, not an acquaintance, my dad. The person whose name on my screen would guarantee I opened the message immediately, without screening it, without hesitation. That choice tells me something about how well they knew me, how long they'd been watching before they decided to make contact. They didn't use a stranger. They used him. There were 16 people who had my dad's personal cell number. I've thought about every single one of them since. I still don't know which one it was. I almost didn't include this last one because it's the most recent. Some of it I still haven't fully processed. It started 8 months ago. I'd been talking to someone I met through a mutual friend. We'd gone on 3 dates. Easy conversation, nothing alarming, or nothing I recognized as alarming. We'd been texting regularly. Then I canceled a 4th date because of work. He was gracious about it. Said no worries, we'd reschedule. We didn't reschedule. I got busy. He texted once more, I gave a vague reply, and things faded. That was February. In April, I got a new message from him. 7:18 p.m. Marcus. I hope you're doing well. No pressure at all. I just wanted to reach out. I felt a small sting of guilt. I hadn't handled the fade well. I replied, said I was good, apologized briefly for going quiet, kept it warm but short. 7:22 p.m. Marcus. You don't have to apologize. I understand completely. You weren't feeling it. That seemed mature. Normal, even. 7:23 p.m. Marcus. I've just been spending a lot of time near your neighborhood lately. I paused. Typed. 7:24 p.m. Me. Oh yeah? What for? 7:25 p.m. Marcus. Just getting familiar with the area. Getting familiar. Not visiting someone, not working nearby. Familiar with the area. Like it was something he was doing on purpose, methodically, as a project. I didn't respond. 8:02 p.m. Marcus. You run on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, the path along the canal. I put my phone down on the table and didn't touch it for a long time. I did run that route. Same days, same time, same path. I'd been doing it for over a year. It had never crossed my mind to vary it because nothing had ever made me feel like I needed to. I'd felt safe there. I'd looked forward to it. I tried to think clearly. We had a mutual friend. Maybe she'd mentioned something once. Maybe he'd spotted me out there. But he didn't say he'd seen me running. He stated it as documented fact, a schedule he had written down. 8:47 p.m. Marcus. I'm not trying to scare you. I just think you should know I still think about you. 8:47 p.m. Marcus. A lot. I blocked the number. Filed a report the next morning. The detective reached out to him directly. He denied everything, said the messages were friendly, that I was misreading intent. The detective explains that while the messages were disturbing, nothing in them constituted a direct legal threat. I understood that. It didn't make me feel any safer. I changed my running schedule immediately. New days, different time, different route altogether. 4 weeks passed without contact. Then a message from a number I didn't recognize. 6:51 p.m. The new route is prettier. Good choice. I sent the screenshot to the detective. He reopened the file. That was 4 months ago. There's been nothing since. No messages, no sightings, no contact of any kind. I use a gym now, one with a locked entry system. I've told 2 people in my life where it is. I park in different spots each time. I vary what days I go. I've started doing things I never thought I'd have to do. Small behavioral adjustments that are completely invisible to anyone looking at my life from the outside, but take up space in my head constantly. Some nights, I still check my phone before I fall asleep. Old habit. Scrolling through contacts, scanning for a number I don't recognize. Looking for something I can't name but would recognize immediately if I saw it. I keep waiting for a message that says he knows which gym. It hasn't come yet. I don't think I'll ever fully stop waiting for it. Some part of me never will.